something I always do is I will wear CMU swag into go to the office. So if someone recognize that signal, that secret signal, they will just come up to say hi. So that's a very natural icebreaker.
And the third point is, and a lot of people or students will omit this point, is I would grab every opportunity to train my transferable skills.
Yeah, I think one quick tip which has helped me is just going to work every day with a mindset that I'm not the most intelligent person in my team or in that group of interns.
I still clearly remember what my manager's manager told me when I joined Robinhood the first time is the company will change, but people never.
Hello and welcome to this episode of The Breakdown, a podcast for all things product, entrepreneurship, and everything in between. In this episode, we have invited Tilly, Owen, Kinshuk, and Sean to break down their experience while doing an internship, common questions such as expectations and networking with others, along with tips to get the most out of the experience. Without further ado, let's dive into this episode of The Breakdown. Let's get started. Cool. So thank you for the intro, and let's start off by quickly introduce ourselves, who we are, what internship we have done, so that the audience get familiar with our voice. Tilly, if you want to start.
Okay. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Product CMU. Really honored to be here to talking about my internship experience. So coming back to myself, I'm Tilly Zuo. I just graduated this year from CMU, and my major is Entertainment Technology Center. And but which is not very related to my work, is actually I'm a product manager and I have 7 PM internships so far. So basically some company like Tesla, Robinhood in the US, and also I worked as a large corporate in China, like Tencent, WeChat, and TikTok. So really excited to be here today and share my experience, and also want to learn from other speakers and also my friends, Kinshuk, Owen, and Sean.
Great, perfect. Thanks, Silly, for your intro. 7 internships. I think that's crazy. I think you'll be the most talkative person here. Great. So coming back to me, I think so I'm Kinshuk, and I'm currently pursuing the Masters in Product Management program at Tevere School of Business. I'm also interning as a product management intern at Legrand, which is a power distribution company based in Canonsburg, Pennsylvania. Prior to CMU, I have almost 6 years of experience working with American Express, Expedia, and Amazon as a product analyst. So I think this internship is pretty much, allowing me to test the waters of being a product manager in a global hardware and software company. So I'm pretty much excited for this conversation and sharing my experiences so far.
Hi, Hi, I'm Owen, and I previously mostly have internships back in China, and is mainly around marketing analyst and product analyst at TikTok and Nestle. I also have one full-time experience at Trip.com as a growth marketing analyst. And my major. I major in business analytics at Tepper. Hello, Tepper alum. And I just graduated last month, which is pretty exciting. And I'm going to embark on my career journey in the States. So today I not only share my insights of my internship experience, but also can learn from you guys, because all of you have some experience in the States. So yeah, happy to chat and talk.
Nice. Seems like I'm the last one here. My name is Sean, currently a rising senior at CMU, major in information system and human-computer interactions. Currently a PM intern at Microsoft Azure, previously a software engineer intern at a startup called Explo. And I think that is everyone. So let's start off with a lighthearted intro, just so that people know more about us. The icebreaker we have today is, tell me about the most embarrassing moment during your internship. Who wants to start?
That's a good question.
Yeah, That's a pretty good question. I can kick the ball off is yeah, it's just like yeah, it's really bring me think about the like terrible memory when I was like interning at Tesla as a PM intern this spring. So because like there's one day I work from home and I have a very early morning call, and that is also a call with a lot of high ups. I just like because I'm so sleepy and not like know where I am, I just like join the meeting link with knowing that my camera is on. And I'm now like exactly at that time I'm not very presentable. And I think I also didn't mute myself. So yeah, it's really embarrassing. Like I think like 1 minute later, I thought, okay, oh my God, it's like because everyone else, or most of them is in like office. So because Tesla have a like policy that like everyone should go back to the like office, and I was like, because I was injured at that time, so I work from home. So I guess like will be a pretty bloody lesson for me. So every time, no matter how sleepy you are, like when you before you join a meeting, just make sure your camera and the voice get removed. Okay.
I do share with that experience, especially with the higher up. My story was the first day of my internship. At the end of the day, I was assigned all the accounts and the OneDrive, things like these. But it's my current internship right now. I have no idea how OneDrive works. So I was clicking around, thought, well, this is pretty cool, the access I can get. And I think I moved around a few stuff. So at 12 o'clock in the morning, my manager sent me a message. I think I still have it around me. Let me find it for myself. So using his exact quotes, he said, any reason you deleted all of these folders, including our internship doc and OneNote I created. So what ended up happening is that I deleted everything that the team originally has for the past 3 years. And because on OneDrive, when you delete something, it shows a record of who deleted. So it says edited by Ization, which is my name at Microsoft. So starting on my second day, I no longer need to make my introductions to the team members. And that was my lesson of...
Were you able to recover?
My manager was able to recover. So
did they pull back some access from you?
Yes.
Fortunately, no. So up till this point, I didn't get any new access after this, but they haven't taken any access back, which was the fortunate part.
Congratulations. You will be a memorable intern.
I am super proud of myself for it. First day of my internship, making a bank.
Great. Cool. I think I can take a dig on my embarrassing moment. So I think it was the first day when I went to the office in my recent internship, and so we were having lunch in cafeteria, and there was a fridge kept there, and the fridge had like a couple of like water bottles and stuff like that. So I thought that it's for employees to take water and whatever. So I went to the fridge. I was like, there were multiple cans of Sprite there, and I love Sprite. So I thought, these are for employees. I should take one. So as I was taking a can of Sprite from the fridge, my manager came that, he said, this is not for employees. This is somebody who loves Sprite here, just stocks it every week. Then I was like keeping it back, but then he said, you can take one, but next time, just remember it's not for employees. So it was sort of an embarrassing moment on the very first day, taking somebody else's Sprite. But yeah, that's my story.
I feel like it happens so frequently.
No, but it is very lucky that the Sprite is not your manager's.
Oh yeah. Otherwise, it would have been like double embarrassing. Yeah.
I feel like whenever you share a fridge with anyone, like these things pretty frequently happen, unless you have these sticky notes to put on.
Yeah, definitely.
Whatever is yours.
Yeah, I think in Tepper, people would mark up their stuff in the common fridge, which is pretty much good. So I think that's I think the way to go to avoid these kind of situations. Yeah.
Okay, I will be the last. So in Asian work culture, we have this kind of things called power nap, which I'm a big fan of that. But this is only in like very typical in a domestic Chinese companies. But when I were when I was interning at Nestle, there weren't such a setting, but I got used to it to take a nap every day before my afternoon work. Otherwise, I would always be so tired and so exhausted. And then one day I set like 5 alarms, but unfortunately the alarm that didn't wake me up, and I just took 1.5 hours nap by accident. So, and the end didn't look good at all because I was woken up by my manager knocking my head, and then I was like so freaking because I was having a dream, and it was so embarrassing because all the colleagues around me is looking at me, and be careful, don't take a nap too long and set alarm. Yeah,
That's for sure a powerful one. Waking up by your managers.
that's too bad.
But you can actually said that, okay, manager, actually you're in my dream. So that's why I'm like take so much time to wake up.
Lingered in my dream then because I was thinking about you too
I should have
much.
said that. I should have said that.
Yeah, like I feel like every time this kind of like an awkward thing will happen naturally in the workplace. But I feel like if we take it be chill and like just response by some humors, I think it will be a good solution if things like this happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I feel like in different work cultures, as what Owen talks about, there's like different expectations. And just because how diverse like the location, the job, the things that we do are different, the expectation also comes differently. And I think now that we're best friends, we can talk about something that's in common, which is internship itself. Coming into an internship, like what's your expectation coming into it? What do you want to learn? What is something that I think you want to get out of it each time you go into an internship?
Okay. I can talk about my expectation or my goal for the internship because I did a lot of internships. So I definitely have some thoughts and the personal philosophy behind it. So like I think it really depends on which phase you're in. If you are starting your like let's say first 3 internship, so I guess the main goal should be learn what is the role, what is the responsibility, and what is the industry. And if you kind of like know like, okay, I pretty much know like what is product manager, like how it looks like in the day-to-day work, and what does my company do, and also like do I have a passion for this specific industry or vertical, and then you can move into the next stage is because I know like a lot of schools in Canadian and the US they have so many co-ops. So some people will have multiple, like more than 3 internship before they graduated. So I guess if you move into the second stage, my advice or my personal goal is kind of like, there will be an extra goal is networking and building your connection in the industry. Cause like I still clearly remember what my manager's manager told me when I joined Robinhood the first time is the like company will change, but people never. So thinking about in the perspective of a long-term gain. So actually, I think networking is something, if you have energy and bandwidth, definitely throw some time into it. So that is my goal. And lots, I guess, if you are gonna to graduate, you want a full-time job, definitely secure a written offer is a first priority.
Interesting. Tilly, to follow up on this, like as we mentioned, there is always this balance between doing a good job on the project you get assigned to versus networking with the people around you. When do you know you're at this stage where you should focus more on networking and perhaps knowing more about the people around you?
Yes, good question. I think you will know it is a time by yourself. It's what just happening. So let's say you feel really relaxed and you can do everything perfectly. You get good feedback and you get everything done. Like probably can do it if you need to work like 8 hours per day and you can finish your work, let's say 5 hours. like very perfectly without too much iteration and modification. So if that happens, so then it's pretty much the time for you to either self-learning some other knowledge inside your company's wiki or knowledge bank, either to network.
So it seems like the sense of familiarity on the content does matter. And once you have this confidence on what you do, it sounds like that will be a good metric to start networking with others. Owen, I'm curious to hear your end, because it sounds like you also have done multiple internships, but for you, it's more so towards data analytics. So how does that work for you? And what's your expectation going into an internship?
Yeah, I totally agree with what Tilly have mentioned. The first phase of the internships is always to get to know with your roles, the industry, and the team, what is the team is going on, and what kind of job this specific roles require. And for me, maybe you don't know, my background is actually I studied marketing during my undergraduate, but I was so determined to become like a data analyst when I was a sophomore. So internship is a very important pathway for me to transfer from a business background, a purely business background, into something half technical, half business, like data analytics track. So one of the very huge like expectations or goal of my internship is to get familiar with the data analytics tools and help me to transform, like serve as a cornerstone for me to transform my career. And the other thing is obviously it can pave way for my future career in data analytics, because when you started to seek full-time job or apply for a master program, your past experience really matters, especially your professional experience. And the third point is, and a lot of people or students will omit this point, is I would grab every opportunity to train my transferable skills. Those skills, because every company you work for, they're on a different projects. I work for Nestle, it's a food and beverage company, and TikTok is like a short video company. They varies, their contents and projects varies from each other, but what is important, what is core, is the transferable skills, such as the cross-team collaborations, the communications. The communication is just not just like this like daily conversation, but also in like quantitative storytelling, quantitative communication, whether you can explain those technical terms to someone without technical backgrounds, and also all those like kind of leaderships. And yeah, I think those three are my top three expectations and goals during the internships. Yeah.
Great. Thanks, Owen. I think those are pretty good actionable thoughts. Really, really valuable. I think going into like I can recollect like when I was applying for internships, and primarily why the reason I applied for this particular company was that I really wanted to get a sense of what hardware and software product management looks like, and how these two components integrate together to create, let's say a differential product or service together. So I was pretty clear that I wanted to do that, and like my current company, the grant offers me an opportunity to do the same. So that's really good. Overall, and I think I've throughout my career, not during this internship, but throughout my career, I've spent good efforts to really network with people and learn from them, people who are in my team or even outside my team. I think that has really played a huge role in my learning, and getting me attuned to a lot of different areas in an organization. There's a very crazy story. At one stage, I set a personal goal for myself that every week I will talk to one new person in my company. Those were days like before the pandemic, when we used to go to office every day. So that was a personal goal, and it was a pretty much doable goal. Like every day I would just go through the common cafeteria and just start talking with somebody new in the company. And that like really expanded my my network across. So that was during when I was in Expedia. So that really expanded my network across the organization really well. And I knew more people outside of my team than anybody else. So that was great so far. And there's a story which ties back to that was primarily the reason I'm at the MSPM program, because somebody who was a software engineer did this program 2 years back, and then they sort of, convinced me to pursue this program. So yeah, like networking has played a very big role in, at least in my career so far.
It sounds like coming into internship, it's about like learning the field, learning the company, learning about the product, but more importantly, learning about the people that you work around with. I think Tilly and Oven, you two mentioned something similar, like the skill you learn eventually will be different, but the people you met, they're going to be the same. Or the people you met are going to pave your path with you along the way. So I think Kinshuk, starting from you, I'm curious to hear, like, how do you network with full-time employees? Like you mentioned, setting this goal of reaching out with one person every single week. How do you do that while doing an internship?
Yeah, I think the strategies are different based on if you're a new joinee in a company or you have been there for a couple of years. If you are a new joinee, which is like I am in my current internship, I think I will take a very formal route. Like if I have to, like this is apart from, like reaching out to people in person. But if you like really want to, let's say, talk to somebody in the engineering team, I would first send them an email, not even like a chat or in Teams or Slack, but like send a formal email introducing me, and then take the conversation from there. But I think when you get more tenured and more seasoned in the organization, I think you can just reach out to them on Microsoft Teams or Slack, whichever what your company uses, and just reach out to them. Or probably if you're working in the office, just like meet them in the cafeteria or go to their desk and say hi. So there are multiple ways to do it, I think, overall. I think when I'm like, I pretty much I'm not that confident that if like as a new joinee I would go at somebody's desk and say hi. I think I still have some issues with that. But yeah, there are multiple ways to reach out to people based on how comfortable you are doing.
Yeah. Yeah, one thing that I want to add on to Kinshuk's thoughts is like we also need to pay attention to the company's culture, because based on my experience, like some companies have a very strong hierarchy and don't provide a very free and safe space for the employee to network. So definitely, and some companies, especially some startups, will provide a more like free and more open-minded atmosphere for you to network. So it's pretty much a high level macro factor you need to keep in mind. So if your company is more encourage you to network, to know about other teams' knowledge and what they are doing and something like this, so just feel free to do as much as you can. But if you are in a company, you doesn't say let's say your intern fellows, let's say the new hire full-time employees network very aggressively, or like initial like frequently initial some network chat, just be more cautious about this. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Those seem like, go ahead, Oven.
Yeah, I also want to add on that, like, networking inside companies does not have to be like a designated like 30 minutes coffee chat, or you need to sit in front of each other like very, very formally. It could happen during the work, during a lunch break, during the time events, and always start with something small and relevant. For example, when I collaborated with some of my colleagues who's a senior analyst, and I will approach them with some relevant work projects that we are working on in that period. And then if I grab a chance, I will always add 1 or 2 questions of our official meetings and say, oh, I saw you done this past analytic projects before, and I'm wondering how do you come up with this mindset? How do you come up with this pipeline? and is there anything I could improve on my current project, something like that. It doesn't have to be like I send you an email, I send you things on Lark or internal channel, and then I ask you out for coffee chat. Just start with something small and relevance, and then you can gain a lot like from these small talks from them. Yeah.
Yes, I like this point. It's like I think one thing, like one general rules of networking is do the homework and the research before you meet these people. So you have something to talk about. You probably talk about the project, talk about the roles, talk about the hobbies. So definitely do the homework before you are gonna to meet a new people. And also, especially for the like senior people and senior expert in the industry, one trick I have is start from your alumni. So that's something I always do is like I will like wear CMU swag into go to the office. So if someone recognize that signal, that's a secret signal, they will just like come up to say hi. So that's a very natural icebreaker.
Yeah,
No wonder all
that's
the
nice.
hoodies are sold out at the bookstore.
Yeah, such a nice hack to like do passive networking, like not even like approaching somebody, but then they recognize you wearing a CMU gear and they like it instantly builds that connection. That's so good.
Yes.
Something to take notes on. And like similar to what Owen said, so much about networking is less about networking with the title of the person, but more so towards their experience, like learning from their common mistakes and any explicit roles that helps you to slimly adapt to the team. And I think moving out of that, because I think there are interns that we get to network. Talking about network itself, there's also other fellow interns that are to interact with. And I think given the difference of our experience, I'm just wondering, how has yours experience interacting with the other interns? Like, if there's any events, because for us at Microsoft, they have various different events throughout the week. We go out to dinners, we do card games together. Almost every day we'll have events together where we can spend time talking about our experiences and just celebrate the difference between us. I was curious to hear, like, what's it like for other interns and what's it like in different companies?
Yeah, I can start. I think networking with other like interns or people with the same title or same level as us is actually easier than like networking with some senior people and more chill, because you have more excuses or reasons to reach out to. And for me, I mostly reach out to the other interns during the lunch break, and we were just starting with some like common questions like, which school you're in, what major you're in, what team you're in, and what kind of like projects you are on, but something not that serious, but something you can like do the icebreaker and start the conversations. And also one trick is to like be unapologetically curious and very humble when you look for like other interns for the networking, because some of the people in the companies, they're interns and they think they should show off, they should be playing chill, very competitive, but not my style. My style is in a very collaborative way. I'm curious about your background. I'm curious about what you are doing, because I believe if we talk, if we exchange ideas, we can grow. We can grow from each other, and that's why you need to lower your standard, not lower the standard, but lower your manner, and to be very humble, to start the conversations, and then to communicate in a very smooth and pleasant way. Yeah.
Mindset. To get rid of the ego.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Owen, what's one tip you can give us on being more humble? Like, do you just walk up to them, be like, "Yo, what's up?"
Something it's something like you don't brag about your experience before, and be very patiently listening out their stories before you make a points. You are curious about them. You don't stop them. You don't interrupt them. And this is something that you're humble. When they are doing something, they told you they are doing something really good at a job, you don't reply by a better story.
Talking about the 7 internships that you have done.
Yeah. You
Definitely.
applaud and you
Right.
you cheer up, and that's how we are humble in this way. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I think
really
one
have this mindset. Okay, do you want to go first, Kishik?
Yeah, I think one quick tip which has helped me is just going to work every day with a mindset that I'm not the most intelligent person in my team or in
I
the
love
group
this.
of interns. So because it sometimes happens, like when you come from a good school like a CMU, I think you sort of had that, you might be intelligent and stuff like that, but if you are more curious, as Owen said, and you have like a broader open mind, you realize that a lot of other interns or a lot of other people in your team know way more than you, and you can always learn from them. So I think that has helped me quite a lot. Sorry to cut you off, Tilly.
Actually, I thank you for bringing this on. It's really a like philosophical like talk. It's kind of like a meditation. So if you're telling yourself, okay, I should be humble, I'm not the smartest people in this room, you will like naturally be likable, I think. Okay, Herman. So I think I have 3 tricks for not working with interns. It's not very like serious, but I think it's very efficient. First one, join the intern groups. Let's say you are in Teams, Slack, Discord, or any communication tools, like join as much as you can. I think it can help you not only solve your problems related to work, and you probably can go out, like hang out together. You probably can buy or sell some secondhand stuff. It's just like join the community, join the chats, like people will come.
Sell your stuff.
Yes. And the second one is I think it's like find the like event king, find the iconic intern. So I figure out like every time when I go to an internship, it's like there is always like let's say 2 or 3 people in the internship group be very like active and always organizing events, asking people to hang out, just like be friend with them, and you will be involved in the most like sexy and hot events they're hosting. So definitely, I think it's definitely, yeah, try to be friends with everyone. And yeah, if you don't have that active iconic person, just be the one for your internship group. Last one is like dress up. So it's kind of like when you dress up and be presentable, like people will just naturally say, oh, I love your t-shirt, I love your ring, I love your haircut. This will be a very nature but simple but efficient way to start a conversation, right? So 3 tricks.
Really, for your next LinkedIn post, I would love to hear how you should dress up
Yeah,
for work
some-
environments.
we would love to take recommendations from you.
Especially
Okay. Yeah, I will charge for like $50 per hour to provide aesthetic related suggestions in the professional workplace.
But that's
Yeah.
in my entire wardrobe budget. I will have literally no money to buy anything new then.
Yeah, but you will get the compound interest.
Definitely. Great.
The $50 you spend is gonna bring out so much revenue that you can buy all my clothes. But yes, actually we have already bled into this topic a little bit, because I think another common thing about our internship is that sure, we work on different things, meet different peoples, but we all only work 8 hours a day. And so much of this internship more so is about the off hours, how we explore the city, how we perhaps spend times outside of the things we're at the company. And I would be curious, like Owen, starting from you, to hear what do you do outside of your internship? Because you're in China, I think you mentioned. Like, what is the life like, and how do you maximize your experience overall?
Oh, my latest 2 internships experience was in Beijing, like both
wow.
Nestle and TikTok, and they're both in Beijing. And that was a period is really miserable because it's 2020 the start of the COVID-19.
Oh,
And I was in preparations for my master and full-time position application. So after the events, after all the work, I just like, because I was like starting out remotely at that point because of the COVID. So after work, I just like soak myself into studies. And in June to July, when things my summer internship in Nestle, when things getting better, I would I would go out and do some like local meetup groups and local city walk, local bike group, just to join some like sporty events, because those kind of things are the best way to find people, to look for friends, and to explore a city. And if I got a chance, I would definitely like hang out more with my internship buddies at a time, and which I regretted for because I put too much time to study. Yeah.
study hard, hardly study. How
Oh.
do you find these groups or events that's coming up? Like, do you talk to people in person? Do you find them on
Yeah,
their own pages?
Yeah, talk to people like who are locally from Beijing or from that area. And there's like a different WeChat group, or in the state there's like a Facebook group that you can join, and you can also explore through like Airbnb experience page, and free advertisement and something like and yeah, you can find a way. It's like pretty common and pretty obvious.
Otherwise, you can just join Product CMU. If you're CMU kids, just join our community, and you will get a lot of internship friends from school, probably in Bay or New York or Seattle.
Free
Sorry.
advertisement as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good placeholder for an P at CMU ad. Great. Yeah, I think I can I can share my experience, but I really don't have too much to share because I'm stuck in Pittsburgh for the summer. But I think a couple of things, because I'm mostly remote, so I've I usually, I sometimes go to campus and work with my classmates, who all are, in Pittsburgh and doing remote internships. I think that's a very good thing for me because we all are in different kind of internships with different companies, and we can discuss stuff, what's happening in their internship, and I can share my experience as well, and then we can discuss on what strategies to do, really do well in the internships. And if I run across a problem, I can just ask them, hey, this is my problem, what do you think will be the right solution for that? So working together with my classmates has been really beneficial. And also the general thing, because my work tends to get a bit hectic, so just balancing it out with exercising in the evening or going for a run, going to the gym and stuff like that, I think that really creates a balance, whether you're interning or doing a full-time role at a company.
Good to know. For me, mine is quite simple. Literally one word, just eat, because I am sort of a foodie. So whenever there's chances in the off hours, I do like to check out places. Yelp is a great way to get your recommendations. You can also ask the localers, as Wolven said. And I think coming back to you, Tilly, like having 7 internships and being the networking queen out of all of us, limiting our time here, like what is your favorite off-hour activity for you to do, and how do you usually come about doing that?
Okay, great but tough question, because I have a lot of hobbies. It's really hard for me to pick one best activity. But for me, I guess is go to the underground and just there listening to the jazz or some very niche and EDM music, and just kind of with intern friends if you are stressed hot, because I know I don't know, I pretty much believe I burn out several times in every of my internship. So if you feel you are burn out, just do something can really cheer you up. And I think the most efficient way to cure myself is music. So I do that.
Great. What is underground? Just curious.
You
Like,
don't mean the underground cafe in CMU, right?
like there's a lot of like bar with some band will provide live performance. So
Oh,
I really
nice.
want to, I really like have the tendency to explore the India music in the city.
Wow.
Oh,
That's
since
great.
the like how to explore the area, just you have to keep like stick to a hobby. Let's say you are a runner or you are a people are very into the hiking. Just find out the local community and join it.
Got it. Makes
Good to know.
sense. That's good.
And for the audience listening to our podcast, since you can't see Tilly's video, Tilly is above 21.
Oh yeah, sure. Thank you for calling
Great.
that.
Nice.
Good to know.
Cool. Yes, Kinshuk, I know, right? But I think to wrap everything in a tie, we talked about like what's the expectation out of an internship, how to network with full-time employees, how to interact with your fellow interns, and at the end, how to maximize your experience in your off hours. And I think we talked a lot of tips and tricks, but to wrap this up, what's something that the audience to you all can do in the next day when they start their internship to better their internship by 1%?
Okay. It seems like no one want to be the first person to respond, so I will be the one. Okay, I guess for me is I wanna like just do the daily report, because like I don't know, I always have the trouble to keep insisting on like write the daily report for myself, because like most of my managers or mentors don't require me to provide a daily like reports. But like, so usually whenever I start over my internship for the first 2 months, I'm like very passionate about like writing the daily report at the last 10 minutes of every day. But gradually I just lose the habit. I just feel like I got more and more familiar with the work and I can handle all the stuff. But actually, when you are trying to look back and organize your work and do some retrospective, especially when you are approaching the midterm or final report of your internship, so daily report will be a very good resources for you to look back and remember what you did and what is the difficulties you encounter and how did you solve it. So it will be help you to save amount of times to recall those memories and put them into the final report of your internship. So
It sounds less so to your manager, but more so to yourself, reminding you what you have been through and what you learned in every single day.
exactly.
Just curious, do you share this with anybody in your team, like your manager, or it's just for your self use?
I usually share with my manager, but
Okay.
it's a very common observation is usually like in the first like let's say several weeks, my manager will check my progress. But like moving forwards, I found every of my managers, they never come into my daily reports like doc. So
Okay.
so that's
Got
kind of
it.
like one of the reason I think I just like cannot insist on it, but it's actually a very useful tool and to help you to secure the return offer.
Yeah, I think this is one of, like, almost everyone who's higher up has advised me to do this with my internship, although I still am procrastinating writing a daily report. But yeah, I think that's a very good tip, Billy. Thanks for that. I think the one thing that I would like to really advocate is like ask questions. I think being curious, specifically when you're new in a company or a role, is so important. So never hold yourself back asking questions. Like, they could be like really good questions or really silly questions, small, big, anything. But don't be afraid to ask questions and really get into the deep of why we are doing stuff and like what we are doing it. So I think that has helped me over time to, build curiosity. And the other thing it helps it with that, it's always good to ask questions at the start of a project or at the start of a task, rather than, holding yourself back and, halfway through it realizing that, you're not clear with something, and then going all the way back to, redo it. So asking questions is definitely a superpower, overall, at least for me. And I think I advise it to everybody who I meet and, request some feedback. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like asking more questions, and I kind of like really resonate with that. And my two advice would be like very related to asking the right and good questions. Is like the first one, you gotta see the bigger picture of your projects and your task. And a lot of like interns, they are tasked with some very really repeated and boring subjects, which I experienced before. And then time after time, you will lose interest in what you are doing and start to complain. But when you really ask what is the bigger picture, what's the whole story of these projects, you will know how yourself, your task can contribute to the entire pipelines. And so my habit is always ask for the goal, the whole story, the whole projects, introductions, overview with my manager before really starting on something. Because when I got into the full-time position, I can see this habit really helped me a lot to take the ownership, the initiative to dive into more details, and then do the improvements instead of just finishing your own task. And my second advice would be like communication is really key, and always repeat and gain alignments with your stakeholder teams. For me, is product managers and the product teams before you really get your hands start on something, because a lot of mistakes, a lot of pushback, and a lot of delay is due to miscommunications. There's like misaligned with the matrix, with the goal, with the standard you're doing. So, but it all could be avoided if you are communicating good ahead of time. So yeah, those are two of my advice for those who strive to be better at the internship. Yeah.
Nice. And connecting you three's thoughts together, asking questions, seek alignment before execution, documenting your learning and success. I feel like that should be something that all the intern can do to maximize their experience. For me, mine is quite specific. For those who just started your internship or for those who recently start, ask for a seating map of your office and try to remember everyone's name, because you'll be pretty surprised how everyone will respond after you call by their names, booking coffee shops, hanging out for lunch, things like these. It's a personal thing that I have found out. And that wraps up this episode of The Breakdown. A huge shout out to our speakers, Tilly, Owen, Kinshuk, and Sean, and you can find their contacts in the description below. And if you're eager to continue breaking down barriers and engage with like-minded individuals, we invite you to subscribe to our newsletters to explore further. Thank you for joining us for The Breakdown today, and see you in the next episode.